Developing now, we're getting closer to learning who could possibly face charges in the alleged attempt to overturn the 2020 election results. A judge just ordered the partial release of a report by a special purpose grand jury investigating the matter.
That special grand jury was tasked with investigating alleged efforts by former President Donald Trump and his allies to overturn the 2020 election. 11 Alive's Joe Ripley joins us now. And what else will this report include, Joe?
Well, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney first says we could see parts of that special grand jury report this Thursday. The full report including a list of who should or should not be indicted, plus the potential crimes they committed.
But I would not be surprised at all if this grand jury did not make multiple recommendations for prosecution.
Georgia State University law professor Anthony Michael Kreis on the impending release of part of a report by the Fulton County Special Purpose Grand Jury. The report lays out recommendations of who should be indicted and on what crimes related to the attempt to overturn the 2020 election. The 23-person special grand jury was created in 2021 at the request of Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, following a phone call former President Donald Trump made to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. The jury looked into alleged efforts by the former president and his allies to overturn the 2020 election. Willis says the jury heard from 75 witnesses during the 8-month-long investigation. An order from Fulton Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney stated the jury did not exceed the scope of its investigation.
I thought that he listened to the arguments of the state and that his order basically did what we asked.
Former federal prosecutor Zara Karenchak calls the release of even a portion of this kind of report from a grand jury unprecedented. She says it could box in the DA when the findings are released.
It's somewhat of a roadmap, but it's pieces of a roadmap, and that's where it's potentially problematic because you only hear part of the story.
The judge says much of the final report should not be disclosed until the DA completes her investigation. He expressed concerns over each of the witnesses having due process or having their say in court. He said compelling public interest and transparency required the release of at least some of this report. The judge says the jury believes some witnesses might have lied under oath during testimony. The DA now has a chance to meet with the judge ahead of Thursday to determine if any of the report will be redacted before it's released to the public. And right now you can see the full timeline of this investigation into former President Trump and his allies here in Georgia at 11alive.com. Coming up at 6, what the release of this report could mean for Trump and Willis, as each could face second terms in office next year.